Hello everyone and welcome to today's Cambridge University Press ELT webinar. I'm delighted to welcome as today's presenter Vicky Saumell. Vicky holds a diploma in the theory and methodology of TESOL. She's a trainer and teacher as well as a product champion for Cambridge University Press's Kids Box series. Over to you, Vicky.
Hi everybody, and thank you for taking the time to attend this webinar. I'm based in Argentina. It's 11 a.m. for me, but I've seen people from all over the world, and so we have a wide variety of time zones represented. So today we will be looking at digital tools for primary teachers. And what I wanted to make sure is that we do not just focus on the tools, but that we focus on the learning that can result from using these tools. Because many times when we talk about technology, we are dazzled by the variety of tools available, and we sometimes lose perspective, and we forget that even when we use technology, we still need to be thinking about our learning objectives first and foremost. So let's get started, shall we? The first thing I want to do before we start analyzing some of the things that we can do with technology for primary is I would like to know what age groups you are teaching. So if you could type in the text chat what age groups you teach, I think that would be very informative for the rest of the session. Okay, wonderful. Fantastic. Ooh, thank you so much. Okay, so we mostly have primary teachers, but we also have teachers teaching other levels. And the thing is, although I will be focusing on young learners today, most of the tools, or all the tools I'll show you, also have an application for other levels. And I have also chosen to show you very simple tasks for beginners, because I feel it is often the most difficult age group to tackle. And but of course, each of the tasks that I'm going to show you can be made more complex if the need be. So let's start. Shall we make this a bit bigger? Well, maybe not full screen, but...
Yep, I'll do that.
Yeah? Can we do that for a bit? Okay, great. So when I started planning this session, I was thinking about what would be a set of useful tasks that we usually do in the primary classroom. And starting from that, then thinking, what can technology allow us to do? Or can technology allow us to do these same things better in a different way? Or can technology allow us to do other things that we could not do before without technology? So I have come up with a very basic list of 5 things that I think technology allows us to do for the primary classroom. And these are my 5 things in this list. The first is that we can now very easily digitalize paper materials. That is, take any paper materials and take a picture of it and make it digital so that we can then exploit it in a number of ways. The second thing we have been doing for ages in the primary classroom is working with images. And technology will allow us to extend the work that we do with images and do it in a slightly different way. Of course, as we are teaching languages, we also work with words. So we're going to look at some tools that allow us to work with words. Now, the last two are two things that technology has made possible lately, and there are many tools that make it very easy for us to record learners' audio and to create videos, which were things that we could not do in the past, or that needed very specialist equipment, expensive equipment to do. So I'm going to explore each of these 5 areas, and the way I have thought about it is that, of course, it depends on the equipment that you have available, on the technology that you have available wherever you teach, and very specifically, it depends heavily on your context. So you may have a computer lab with a number of computers where you take your whole class to work. Maybe you have one computer in each classroom. Maybe students have computers in their homes. Maybe students have smartphones or mobile devices that they can bring into class. Or maybe you are lucky enough to work in a high-tech context school that has class sets of iPads. But whatever the context, what I try to do is I structure the talk so that whichever context you're in, you can take something that you can use. So for each of these areas, I am going to show some web-based tools that you use on your computers or laptops. And I'm also going to show you some mobile apps for using with smartphones and iPads, for example, and for different platforms. The issue of platforms is very important, and we need to make sure that if we are going to use mobile devices brought by students into the classroom, we are going to have a variety of platforms. We may have Apple devices working on iOS, and we may have Android devices or Windows. So I have also tried to offer tools that can work on a variety of platforms, so that makes the selection of tools easier. So let's get started with our first issue, which is digitalizing paper materials. And of course, as I said before, what you will be working with, that is the technology you need to support these tools, is often an internet connection, a laptop, a PC, or a mobile device. If you have a PC, you will need a separate webcam or headset. If you have a laptop or a mobile device, these are already built in and you may not need anything extra. So one more thing that is not in this picture but would make an interesting addition to your technological support is a projector. If you have a projector, then sorry, many of the things you do with the mobile devices or with the laptops and with the tools I'm going to show you can be projected in the classroom and be used to make the activity more interactive and visually available to all the class. So as I said, let's get started with digitalizing paper materials. And what kind of materials can you now make digital? Well, to start with, you can take pictures of parts of your course book and then use them to extend or to create new tasks for developing the topic that you are teaching or the language items that you are teaching. You can, of course, also take pictures of students' work, like the family drawing that you can see on the right. You could also be taking pictures of the board work. That is, you have beautifully filled your board with an explanation or drawings or a class activity or anything, and you want to keep track of that. You may want to use it later. So you take a picture of it, it becomes a digital image that you can use in the future. So let's have a look at a couple of examples of things that we can do once we digitalize an image. And as you can see, the topic I have chosen for this section is the family. This is a topic that all young learners, teachers have to deal with, so I thought it would be a good idea to focus on this. The first tool that I want to show you is called Skitch. And this is a wonderful tool because it works on PCs, that is web-based, or mobile devices, on iOS and on Android, and it's totally free. And what you can do with this app is when you open the app, you can upload a picture. In this case, I have uploaded the family drawing. And you can label the picture, as you can see on the left. So I have labeled the picture with the names of the people in my family. This is actually my family. So you can see me in the middle. I'm the shortest in the family. My husband and my children are already much taller than me. And my pets, you can see all my family represented there. And what you can also do is you can then move the words around by dragging and dropping. So you could create an interactive activity, dragging and dropping the words. And so what I thought of, and if you look at the picture on the right, is you can add the family members vocabulary, and then you can have students match the family members vocabulary to the names. So very easily you could have your class, each of your students, drawing their family, taking a picture of it, uploading to Skitch, and creating this digital picture. What is the benefit of doing this digitally instead of having it done straight on paper, which of course you can do? Once you have it done digitally, you can share it with the parents digitally as well, which is very easy. You can project it, as I said, on the wall of your classroom and do more oral activities related to the pictures, like compare the different family members, who is the tallest, or anything, who has long hair, who has short hair, etc. And you can work with the children's drawings, and that's much more personable. Another thing you can do is you can use the pictures that you already find in your course books and use them to do some kind of extension task I'm going to make it smaller again because I want to ask you something. what if you had the chance to digitalize this image, what do you think you could do with that image? What activities would you do with your classroom? Can you please type in the text chat? Describe, compare, guess. Very good. Match. Yes, you can provide the words, then match. Name the members of the family with stickers, label, tell a story. Fantastic. Of course. Okay, now look at what we could do using another tool. What I've done is I have taken different pictures of the different family members. So I have separated the family members. Oh, sorry, this is some of the things you can do. You can project the image on the wall and use it as an oral prompt, as everybody said, to predict, to describe, to compare, to say the names of the characters or the members. You can, using Skitch, you can add the character names or the family members, and they have to match these names. So many things you could do. And I thought of something else, which is what I'm going to show you now. And I have used another tool for this. This is called Pic Collage, and it only works on mobile devices, though both iOS and Android. And what I did is I separated the pictures of the family members. As you can see, it's not one image now, but several small images. And I have added some arrows. And then what you can do is you can have students put together the family tree. Stella's, in this case, Stella's family tree. They could then add the names, so they could type the names, or they could type the family members' names. And you can do this with the images from the book, and of course, you can also have students do this with their own pictures for their own family. Take a picture of each of the members of your family, upload them to Pic Collage, create your family tree. And this is very simple. It's on iPad, so it's all drag and drop. So it's very easy, even for very young learners, and it's very visual. Good. So let's move on to other ideas that you can do with by digitalizing pictures with digital images. So, of course, most children's or young learners' course books are organized by topics, and so in this case, I have taken pictures of the topic-based page of the course book. One is our pets, the other is favorite toys. And you can take that as a prompt and then have students create a picture dictionary by putting different pictures together and then adding the words. And of course, they can share that. You can even print that and put it as a poster on the wall, and keep track of all the vocabulary that they are learning. So this again is very simple to do. You can have students bring pictures of your pets or bring pictures of your toys, and then they can work in groups and put together a picture dictionary with their own objects or pets. And I think that's much more realistic and much more and you know that when we work with young children, we want to personalize as much as possible. So I think this is a very simple idea that young learners could do. And if we think about older students or higher level students, this again is something that they could still be doing at a higher level. Yes, you can create a Pictionary online. You can keep the pictures of every topic you have done in class, so they can go back and look at the pictures and have a picture dictionary online to go back to, and a picture dictionary that they have created, so it's much more meaningful. Yes. Okay, so I think we're done with digitalizing images, and I'm now going to go into working with words. Working with words. And of course, we are teaching languages, so words are extremely important. So the first tool I want to show you is called Wordle. And Wordle works on PCs. It's a web-based tool. And what you can do in Wordle is you can type a list of words, and this little program will turn that list of words into a word poster, into a word poster that shows the hierarchy of words. That is, it analyzes the word frequency. So suppose that I type the word dog 5 times instead of just 1, I will see that the word dog will appear bigger. So when in a Wordle you see bigger words, it means that those words have been repeated. Okay? So here I have created a Wordle with 2 topics. The wild animals from Unit 7 and the pets that we had done before, so that we can revise, not just learn the new vocabulary, but revise the vocabulary that we had learned before, so we can put together all the animals that we had seen before. Let me show you what Wordle looks like in order to make that poster that was in the previous slide. This is it. It's very simple. You click on Create and you get this box, and it says paste a bunch of text. The text can be a whole text, a paragraph. It can be a list of words. It can be the whole text of a book you are reading if you find it online, because I'm sure you're not going to type it. So you just copy a text you're interested in and you paste it there, and then you click Go, and it will create the word art that you've seen in the previous page. Let me show you a few more examples and things that we could do with this. The poster with a black background again is a poster of the animals. It's an alternative version. You can change the colors, the font, the background, and what I did there is I tried to show animals by size. And so I made a list of the animals according to size, and for the smaller animals I typed the word only once. For the slightly bigger animals like the cat and the snake, I typed it twice, 3 times for the dog and the monkey, for example, 4 times for the crocodile and the tiger, and 5 times for the elephant, the hippo, and the giraffe. And so what I got is, again, a poster showing the names of the animals, but a poster that represents animal sizes, for example. So what can you do? You can create vocabulary posters for the classroom. You can show hierarchy of words. You can use, and I'm going to go back to this slide, using this one, for example, you could use it as a prompt to categorize vocabulary. For example, which are pets, which are wild animals? which are four-legged animals, which are not, which are mammals, which are fish, which are birds. So there, which have fur, which have scales, which have feathers. So depending on the vocabulary that you're teaching your students and the complexity of the topic, you can use this same word poster to categorize language in different ways. So let me move forward again. And you can also, for example, in this one here, I have been working with the prepositions of place, of time, at, on, and in, and I have added some phrases that usually collocate with them. So you could have students matching which phrases go with in, which phrases go with on, which phrases go with at. And it could be a good reminder of how to use the different prepositions. You can also, thanks Patricia, you can also show a text main ideas. Exactly, Andre. It works great for story reconstruction, and that's what I'm going to show you next. I was working with the book Where the Wild Things Are, and what I did is I found the whole text of it online. I copied it and pasted it in Wordle, and this is what I got. I got a beautiful poster showing the main words and ideas from the story. And there are so many ways in which you could use this with a story that you're working with. You can use it at the very beginning to predict what the story is going to be about. And you can have students writing sentences using those words. Of course, you will be pre-teaching some of the language that will appear in the story later. For example, in this case, it is quite clear who the main character is. So you can ask, who do you think is the main character? And there you have Max. Where do you think the story happens? And we can see bed is very big, so maybe in the bedroom. So, of course, you can have students doing all kinds of predictions about the story. Again, you can use it to categorize language. For example, if you have students with a higher language ability, you can categorize into parts of speech, which are verbs, which are nouns, which are adjectives, okay? And you can then have students write sentences using those words. So lots and lots of things you can do. And of course, this text analysis that Wordle does based on word frequency is something that was totally impossible. I mean, it was really difficult to do, and now it's a click away, okay? You can then have students create their own Wordles based on what they think are the main words or the main ideas in the story. So, very simple tool, free again, and you can, I'm sure you will come up with a lot more other ideas to use it, but these are just some. Now, what happens if you don't have access to computers and you have mobile devices? Well, the alternative to use on mobile devices is called Wordsalad. It works both on iOS and Android, and as you can see, the result is the same. Here I have created a word art poster related to sports. And the only thing is the free version will come with this Wordsalad watermark in the background. If you want to get rid of it, you need to get the paid version, which is not very expensive. I think it's about $3 or something like that. But you can still use it with the watermark in the background, and there's no real damage done. So with this word art poster, you can also do lots of things like categorizing languages, which are team sports, which are individual sports, which sports use a ball. At a higher level, you can say, for which sports do you use go or play or practice? Do you go cycling, but you play handball? Okay, you do athletics. So many different things you can do with just a list of words. Okay, with just a list of words. And of course, you can prepare your posters yourself, but of course, you can put this in the hands of your students to create their own word posters. So this is working with words. Let's move on to our audio possibilities. I really love the possibility that technology has afforded us to start recording our learners' audio, because speaking as a skill used to be something that we had to do in the classroom. And as words were said, they were lost. We can now record our students, and so speaking and speech becomes tangible. Yes, you can save it, you can show it to parents, you can keep it to go back to it at a later time to check students' progress. So the possibility of recording audio is absolutely fantastic. And there are a few tools that make recording audio very, very easily. Of course, you can always rely on the actual voice recording capabilities of your mobile device without resorting to a tool or to an app. But I will show you what these apps can do, because they can add something to the plain recording. The first tool I'm going to show you is called Vocaroo, and Vocaroo is web-based. It is free. It needs no registration, so it's deadly simple. And what you do is you record something. Then you get, when you finish recording, you get this screen. You click on listen to see if you like it. If you don't like it, you just click on retry and record again. And you can re-record as many times as you wish until you are satisfied. Once you're satisfied, you just decide how you want to share it. So you can share by email. So if a student records it, they can send it to you by email, so you can listen to your students' recordings. But you can also download it. Here it says download as an MP3. So you can also download it to your own computer, or you can share it through social media. Of course, as we are talking about young learners, this may not be the most appropriate thing to do, but that's even a possibility. What could we do with audio? Well, of course, many course books have pronunciation sections or phonics sections, so you could be using those snippets of text to work intensively on pronunciation. And so this is what I have done. I'm going to show you this little text, a pink pen and a blue bag, but I'm going to show you as I did it with another tool. And let's go to the next tool. This next tool is called Telegami, and instead of being web-based, it is for mobile devices. And so what you can do is you can create a speaking avatar, and then you record the voice of this avatar. And this avatar, you can choose how it looks, you can choose where it's standing, if it's in a garden like this, or in the kitchen, or in a classroom, if it's a man or a woman. And so you can create your own speaking avatar, and then you can record it. So I'm going to show you, if we can, let me try to move it. Can we move it, Alistair? Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to make it bigger so you see it. I'm going to play it. It's very short, but this is what it is.
A pink pen and a blue bag.
As I said, this is very simple. Of course, you could have students doing longer chunks of text, or you could have them reading a whole paragraph from a story. So depending on what you want them to do, there are different options. The other important thing about creating avatars is that, first of all, there is some kind of creation on the part of the students, and you are not working with their own images. And sometimes, you know, how for young learners, the use of the children's own image is a bit uncomfortable. It may not be appropriate. You may not want to put it on a website, but if they create the telegamis, these are saved on their iPads, and then you can share them, and it's free. Yeah, Sylvia, it's free for iPhones and iPads. So absolutely fantastic, very easy to do, and you can then upload it. If you have a school website or something, you could be uploading these things and sharing it with parents. And I think students just love it to create avatars. So, one more tool for recording audio, and this is called Photobubble. And here we are going to start combining pictures and audio. So what I've done here is I have taken a picture of the numbers chant in the course book. I opened the Photobubble app. Again, that's free for iOS and web-based as well. So you upload a picture, and then you record your audio or your narration or your explanation or your description on top of the picture. Yes? Let's see if the you have the link there. I'm not going to play it now because it's not necessary, but the chant goes something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So you could have students practicing the chant and recording themselves singing the chant on top of the picture. So just a different possibility. We saw plain audio, we saw speaking avatars, and we saw audio combined with pictures. For higher level students, you could be having students uploading a picture and then describing the picture, which is very, very useful for the speaking sections of international exams, where they have to describe a picture. So instead of doing that in class, which takes, of course, a long time because you need to listen to each one of your students, you could send them the picture and they can upload it to Photobubble, record their description, send it to you, and then you can do the assessment and the evaluation of their speaking section from the comfort of your home. So some of the possibilities. Let's get to the last idea that I want to present you today, and this is how to create videos with our students. Of course, again, you can use the video camera in your smartphones, and that's perfectly okay and efficient. But I'm going to show you another tool. This is called Mail View, and it works on it's web-based, but it also comes as apps for iOS and Android, and it's free again. So what you actually do is when you open the app, you have a recording screen with a red button right in the middle of the screen. So you record a video and you speak at the same time if you want. And so when you finish recording the video, you can send that video by email. So instead of sending a text email, you can send a video email. You can also download the video and keep the video for yourself. So what I thought would be an interesting activity, again, to personalize the learning with young learners, is I took this unit was about clothes. And again, clothes is a very typical topic in young learners' books. So what I did is, okay, you can record a video of yourself showing your clothes. So you can go home, put some of your clothes on your bed and record a video explaining or showing your clothes. And this is what I'm going to show you. This is the video. So let's see if we can move it. Thank you, Alistair. Okay, there you are.
I'm Vicky, and I'm going to show you some of my clothes. These are my boots. These are my jeans. This is a t-shirt. These are my blue tennis shoes. And this is a colorful skirt.
Okay, so very simple. You can make it as simple or as complex as you want. So they can show you their clothes. They can also be using the demonstratives, as you can see, these and these, and you can have them add as many adjectives and the colors of the clothes, and whether it's a long skirt or a short skirt. So very simple, and they could bring in the videos and then you can show them in the classroom, and so everybody can see everybody else's clothes, and I think that could make a very interesting personalization task. Of course, you could be doing similar things like recording a tour of their house, or showing their family members, or recording, if you want to use it at school, you can record a tour of the school, the different rooms, the classrooms, the gym, the playground. And as you see, they are not even recording themselves. I mean, they don't even appear in the videos, which is, I think, very important for young learners to not use their own images. So you will have their voice and videos, and that's perfectly okay. So Mail View, that's the video you saw, and I'm going to give you a few more ideas for the videos. Course books usually come with role plays or oral games, so you can use this as a prompt and have students work in pairs and record themselves doing these oral games or role plays. So, or interviewing somebody. I mean, there are so many things you could do. I only had 45 minutes to tell you about these ideas, but I'm sure you can come up with many more. So this is a list this is a list of the tools and whether you can use them on iPhone, on iOS base or Android base or on the web. And as you can see, all of them are free. Some versions are paid, but you still get a free option. Well, I think those were my 45 minutes. I hope you read some ideas and you heard about some ideas that you can use in your classroom. And of course, we are now ready for the questions. So if you have any question, can you please type it into the text chat?
So thanks very much, Vicky. Some great ideas there, and as it's been said in the chat, people have really been very enthused by those. And yes, please let us know what questions you've got for Vicky. It was perfect timing as well, Vicky. Absolutely to the minute.
Thank you.
So, any questions? Any questions for Vicky? Okay, I'll start, Vicky. If you just could use one of those apps, which would you use?
Are you asking me or are you asking the teachers?
Sorry, I was asking you. If you had to narrow it down to just one app.
I'm asking me. If I had to use just one, oh, I think that's difficult. I think probably the simplest thing to do is working with audio, and so I probably choose some of the recording audio tools.
Okay, thanks. That would be a good one to start with then. Okay, I've got a question from Carol Wild, who says, how do you work with students who don't have mobile devices?
Well, that's the thing. It will depend on your context. So if you have a computer lab at school, you can go to the computer lab and do some of these activities on the computers. That's why I decided I needed to give you web-based options as well as mobile devices options, especially because young learners or very young learners may not have their own smartphone yet. But maybe if you have an iPad, for example, even if it's the only iPad in the classroom, there are lots of things that you could do because you can prepare some activities, take the iPad with you to the classroom and work with little groups and go group by group to do these activities, like, for example, the family tree thing, jumbled family tree, put it together, add the arrows. You can use your iPad to take the pictures of their drawings and then turn these drawings into something else. So even if the students don't have a mobile device, there are ways around it.
Thanks. And I guess that would also be a way of working around the problem of students not being allowed to bring mobile devices into the classroom as well, which Christina brought up.
Yeah, well, the issue of the policy on mobile phone ban, I've seen it in the school I work, and I have been lucky enough to persuade my authorities that this was a useful thing to do. And sometimes the policy is still there, but if you approach your heads or your headmaster, your authorities with the practical ideas and some things that other teachers have been doing with it, maybe you can convince them to let you give it a try.
Okay, thanks. I think that's very useful. So to persuade the head of the school to allow this, you go to them with some examples of positive outcomes and other good things.
Exactly.
That done.
Exactly. You know how a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Question from Daria Ruskina, who asks, which of these would work best with large groups, do you think?
I think all of them can work with large groups. Probably it will depend again on the context. If everybody has a smartphone, then everything is very dynamic. So it doesn't matter if it's a large group or a small group. So for other tools, they might lend themselves better to work group, to working in groups. So maybe creating the word arts posters or doing the collages would be better if done in groups. And so it doesn't matter if not everybody has a mobile device, and maybe it's good for a large class.
Okay, thanks. How would you say that mobile devices and technology in general has changed your teaching?
Well, I think it's a huge change. For example, from the very simple idea that now we are almost not using paper dictionaries anymore. I mean, students are getting their phones out and using their phones to look up words online, but also the recording capabilities of smartphones have made them very, very powerful tools. I often record my students. I mean, we're working on pronunciation. I go say, okay, practice. I will then go and record you. And I record all of them. And I have like in a minute and a half of recording, I have all my students' sentences, and I can look at them and give them feedback, and they listen again to themselves. And listening to themselves is so powerful, because once you speak, you don't realize what you have said. When you listen to yourself, you say, oh, look at that. Now I understand what the mistake I'm making. So working with recordings with phones is very easy and very powerful.
Yeah, so a way of sort of actually being able to reflect much better on what you've been doing. Adrian has just raised a question, which I think it might be interesting to ask the audience actually. So he's asked, so do kids get phones in different countries? It'd be really interesting if everyone could just type in sort of at what age children get phones, roughly in your country.
While people type that, Daria is asking how often should this be used in the classroom every lesson. I'm sure that's not necessary. I'm sure the amount of work you do with mobile devices or with technology itself has to be strictly tied to your learning outcomes. If what you want to do does not need technology, then go ahead and do it the traditional way. But if you feel that this certain task will really benefit from using technology, as in recording or things like that, then of course use it as often as you can. But no pressure to use technology every single class. There are still many things that we can do very well without the technology.
Okay, great. Oh,
10.
Darius responded with, won't they get addicted to? So is there a risk?
Well, they get addicted. Is there a risk? No, I don't think there's a risk. I think it's interesting that they learn that they can also use their mobile phones for learning, which is something that they don't know until you start showing. So they usually use their phones for entertainment. And once they start realizing that their mobile phone is a powerful tool to learn to, I think that's something that we need to teach.
Definitely, I really agree with that. And I think, it's a stunningly powerful communication device as well. And so if we're getting students to communicate more, then I think that's a real positive as well. Question from Ramazan and Fatma Osbey, who ask, is it possible to make one video, one sort of composite video from multiple videos using the video mail app you were talking about? Because then it'd be quite interesting to bring together.
Yeah, well, not with MailView. With MailView, you will have separate emails. But what you could do is you could then upload those videos to something like Movie Maker or something and edit them together to make one video. Yeah, that's possible. I'm sure there are other video editing tools that allow you to put together different videos as one.
Yes, I guess increasingly those are available on mobile phones as well. Those
Yeah.
these apps for editing. Okay, thanks. Got a comment from Carla who says that the students as well as parents tend to think that because once people are having fun with technology, that's playing rather than actually educational. So I think that's true. Okay, we've got a
and I thank Carla.
Sorry.
Yeah, I thank Carla for that comment, because this is really important. If you're going to use mobile devices with your students, then it's very important to let the parents know beforehand, and maybe have a parents meeting or write a very detailed letter explaining what are your intentions, why you're going to use mobile devices, what you intend to achieve with it, and show them the results. So it's not just, oh, they are playing around with their mobile phones, but, oh, they are doing some serious work for the English class with the mobile phones.
Definitely. Thanks. And a good point also from Carla, who talks about its chance to introduce 21st century useful skills into the class as well. Got a question coming from... Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Sorry, no, please.
Well, that's definitely something that's going to happen. The moment you start working with mobile devices, and especially being online and being on the internet, 21st century skills will happen, will have to be addressed. So it's not like turning a blind eye to them, but if something happens, bullying, you need to teach them etiquette, you need to teach them to be careful with what they post, etc., etc. I mean, there are many things you need to teach your students.
Definitely. Couple of questions we'll just finish off with from Artur Grigorian. He asks, so are these technologies applied to all children? So do you think all children have something to learn from these technologies?
Definitely so. As I said, the interesting thing is that these technologies were not designed to be used as education tools either for children or adults. They were designed with another aim in mind. But I think it's very interesting that we teachers can always find the education side to an app. We can say, oh, we could use this for this. And we can turn a plain app into an educational app.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely wonderful. And Arthur asks, do you think these technologies and these apps would work with children with special needs?
Oh, I'm sure they would. I'm sure they would. Yes, I think all of them can be used with special needs children. Yes.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much, Vicky. That's been a very informative and very enjoyable session there. But I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today. But thanks everyone for asking questions, for being engaged. Thanks, Vicky, for an absolutely fascinating session. If you'd like a certificate of attendance...
Thank you all.
Yeah, sorry. If you'd like a certificate of attendance, we'll be sending those out in the next week or so. And we've got a whole load of webinars coming up I'd just like to tell you about. So next week, and we're back to Tuesdays from next week, we'll have a webinar from Joseph Phillips on new technologies and new directions for education. On October the 14th, Touchstone authors Helen Sanderford and Jan McCartan will be discussing conversation strategies. And on the 21st, Craig Thane will explore how teachers' informal, instinctive and ongoing evaluation of learners' progress can feed into a more formal assessment process. If you want some hands-on fun activities for young learners to improve their communication skills, we've got Kidsbox authors Caroline Nixon and Michael Tomlinson giving a webinar on October the 28th. Then on November the 4th, we've got a webinar for teachers of very young learners, when Lynn Durrant offers ideas for creating a stimulating pre-literacy classroom. If you're into video, then Ben Goldstein and Paul Driver will be joining us on November the 11th, looking at ways of integrating video into educational tasks and the benefits of using learner-generated video both inside and outside the classroom. The week after that, on the 18th, we've got Miranda Hamilton on using images to stimulate learner engagement. And on November the 25th, face-to-face author Gilly Cunningham will be offering some practical and fun ideas for student revision. So we've got a lot of webinars coming up. and you can find out more about those on our blog or on our website. So really hope you'll join us for those. So thanks very much, everybody, and thank you particularly, Vicky, for a very interesting and exciting session. Hope to see you all next week.
Thank you so much for coming and joining me for this webinar. Bye.
Thanks very much.